Bruno Fernandes, kita terpaksa jual.
Belum lagi.
Satu hari nanti Bruno Fernandes akan membuatkan kita semua kecewa. Serius aku cakap korang, kalau korang tak percaya.
Salam satu Malaysia, welcome to JomUnited. This is the part 2 of our special segment whereby we rate our players for the 2020-2021 season. Okay, for this segment, we will be talking about the midfield. Okay, let's start with our first, the most controversial candidate, Paul Pogba. Okay, maybe let's go with Josh. Let's start off with you. What do you think about Paul Pogba's performance, and then how would you rate him?
Paul Pogba, he's one of the most controversial player in world football, I would say. And unfortunately, it has to be in Manchester United. I'm going to take it very positively to start with, because Paul Pogba is actually one of the best and if not world-class into what he plays. Because I think we see in like Juventus and for France, but have not reached his highest potential in Manchester United. I think he has undergone a few criticism when he was under Jose, and then now along with Solskjaer. I think he has improved a bit, but he is not to his fullest potential. However, he has played a lot of under the radar kind of role when Bruno wasn't performing. So that was something that is very, very important for us. As you can see, we are not only depending only on Bruno, but when we need a creativity outlet, we need a spark, Pogba has that chance. You see most of his goals also, he came like the West Ham goal, everything out of the box. He's the one that can shoot out of the box. He is the one create that passes to Cavani. So I feel that he really needs to be in this team. Don't ask for 400k, stick with your salary, get the titles in, and then demand later on. And don't get involved with Raiola and your brother coming into this segment, because he is a very important player and he shouldn't be influenced by outside. And I really, for me, I think I will rate him as a 7, slightly above average, because he has played a small part, but is always under the radar. So unfortunate for that, but I hope he really stays on with us and play much better football next season.
For me, there's no way Paul Pogba is a 7. He's a 6.5 maximum. Okay,
0.5.
You know why? He's
round up.
6.5 maximum, but for me, he's average. You know why? He's an enigma. Yes, he may be talented, but he's been here almost 5 years, and we've seen only like a glimpse of the talent. For half the time, he looks disinterested. He loses the ball. You say he's a world-class midfielder. You're losing the ball in front of your goal area. You're giving the ball away. You don't track your man. And he only produces in fits and starts. One season, he maybe puts in about 5 or 6 good performances. That is not enough for a world-class midfielder for me, right? 4 years, 5 years is kind of enough already. For me, you need somebody who's really consistent in the midfield, engine room. Sometimes you look at Bruno and you see he's also overworked. He needs somebody to back him up, and Pogba does not back him up enough for me.
So maybe Hijal, anything you want to add on kepada Paul Pogba?
No, for me, this is my main problem for Pogba lah, because I really like macam kesian kat dia lah, because everything, even though kalau you guys tengok, I memang macam tadi kita ada sentuh sikit pasal Bruno kan. Whenever Bruno underperform against big team ataupun small team, even sometimes small team pun, kita jarang nak bercakap pasal Bruno underperform. Everything, even kalau Pogba, bila Pogba tak perform satu game je, kita dah hentam like he doesn't perform like 2-3 games for that kind of thing. So I very kesian kat dia lah. For me, I still think he's important for United for next season because of his presence. Because kalau katakan Pogba tak ada, kita orang akan like main marking Bruno saja tau. So bila orang dah tahu the tactical yang orang boleh buat untuk United punya game. You stop Bruno, then you stop United. Same apa yang jadi kat Villarreal tu. So that's why lah. So macam for me, I kesian lah dengan Pogba. Even
in the BPL, 26 games this season in the BPL, Pogba played. He has only scored 3 goals, 3 assists, and he's only created 4 chances for the team. Is that a world-class player that we are talking about? Yes, no doubt that Pogba is a world-class player, but he does not bring his world-class status into the pitch. He leaves it outside. He left it at Juventus. For me, he left it at Juventus.
No, itu yang sekarang ni kita because of we Pogba dah main dengan club United ni for the past 4-5 years, and we still haven't find that one position memang suitable for Pogba tau.
Where do you suggest that we actually play Pogba? He's played on the left. He was okay on the left. Okay, and basically after that he deteriorated on the left. He has played in the middle. He loses the ball in front of our penalty box. He goes up. Basically, he goes up, he shoots the ball off target, he doesn't help his teammates. In a matter of fact, he tries to dribble the ball past 4 players, lose the ball and sit down on the pitch. Yes, he is world-class, but that is not the attitude of a world-class player that we are talking about. Has he kept his world-class status, his world-class name to be a world-class player? Yeah, I think he has left it back in Juventus and he goes to France. Yes, he performs for France. So what is the problem with Pogba?
No, just to add on, I think, sorry, Fijal. Just to add on, I think Paul Pogba, he needs time. He needs time to ensure that he can perform because he's not playing at his right position. He is always on the left. He's always at the DM role. Sometimes even change with Bruno. At Juventus and France, he has a permanent role. Yep. In France, he always was alongside Kante. In Juventus, he was his left. And for the whole 30 games, he was playing in that. And for the whole World Cup, whole Euros, he's playing the same position. Yep, Pogba doesn't have that. Pogba doesn't have that. So that's why he's so important. Even though Pogba, yes, under the radar most. That's why I keep saying he's always under the radar because he's filling in those blanks without putting him in his highest potential. And that's the problem with Ole. He doesn't put him in his right position.
Itu yang nak tambah tu. Maksudnya apa yang Josh cakap tu betul. Dekat Juventus dia ada Pirlo, who the one yang dictate the game. So whenever the final ball ada the final pass tu, Pogba will always like in front of someone yang memang boleh the defensive duty tu dia tak fikir lah. So dekat United sekarang ni, we don't have that pure CDM that really you just go attack. I don't care about the defense. So for United currently this season, dia tak perform because of they have 2 duties yang nak buat. Either you go forward or you go defensive. Because you cannot trust McTominay and Fred to be like a lone CDM to cover the defense.
But I think McTominay have proved himself basically in the last game against Villarreal.
That's one game.
Just one game. That's just one game.
Before that but all the while he's playing beside Fred. But I think that McTominay, if given opportunity, he would actually excel there if he's going to focus on that particular position for him. So back to Pogba. So you guys are telling me that basically a world-class player comes into Manchester United, okay, and wanted the team to be built around him. After a few years, because he can't get what he wants, he's just not going to perform.
And to add on to that, guys, come on. They're a midfielder, all right? It's a luxury if you're just a pure attacking midfielder or just a pure defensive midfielder. Why can't you do both? You have Scholes, fantastic forgetting the point player. Okay, you're forgetting the point that Pogba is the only... Doc, you're forgetting the point. Pogba is the only player in the midfield that can play all positions, left, right, center, and defensive mid. And he is determined to do all that. He doesn't have that concrete position as a teammate to have that, because he always covering back and this and that. Yes, he is not his highest potential, but I believe we need to keep him another season to ensure that he reaches his highest potential. And the problem is
signing transfer, then we get in.
The problem is, Josh, it's a luxury. You're having a midfield player who needs to depend on the guys around him. You know why he does well for France? Because he has Kante covering all the dirty work that he doesn't do.
Correct.
You know why he did well at Juventus? Okay, Pirlo is one. He had Marquisio sitting behind and doing all that dirty work. Now, if you're a world-class player, even Veron, when he came to United, did his defensive duties. And he was a pure attacking player at Parma. He came to United, right? He was doing his defensive duties. That's what you need to do as a midfielder. You cannot be just, I'm a attacking midfielder. I don't do my defensive duties and neglect it. You play as a team.
Okay,
guys, look at Cavani. He came down to defend against Villarreal as well.
Guys, boleh I masuk? Boleh masuk?
Masuk. You kat tengah. Masuk.
Actually, problem Pogba ialah satu, Bruno Fernandes. Itu problem Pogba. Sebenarnya, position yang Bruno Fernandes pakai tu, main tu, tempat tu adalah tempat Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba ni ialah box to box punya midfield. dia tak buat kerja defensif. Dia tak buat kerja winger. Dia buat box to box. Dia bawa, dia hantar, and then dia boleh bawa masuk dalam. Tapi problem dia sebab Man United beli Bruno Fernandes. Itu masalah, problem. Diorang nak cuba try pairing Bruno Fernandes dengan Pogba. That's why bila bila Bruno Fernandes tak perform, Pogba pun takkan perform. Itu masalah. Salah satu dia ialah Bruno Fernandes kita terpaksa jual.
Oh
my God.
Cuba you pandang betul-betul. Cuba you tengok betul-betul. Cuba you lihat.
Tak boleh.
Cuba you lihat betul-betul. Serius.
So you are telling me, Jai, you are telling me you want to keep Pogba and sell Fernandes? Are you crazy?
Yes.
Huh?
No,
Okay, let me just. Sorry, I got
because
one point to
you
say.
kena tengok. Because sebelum Bruno Fernandes ada, sebelum dia
Pogba masih
ada,
terus.
masa zaman
Ya.
masa zaman Mourinho, kita champion Europa Cup.
Tapi
European Cup.
performance
Yeah.
tak boleh macam tu. Performance Pogba
Okay,
masih
Jai, I
tengok
got
bukan
two
yang
You're
bagus
talking
sangat.
about a champion.
Consistency pun
You're
tak
talking
ada.
about winning the Europa Cup. That is basically winning the Europa Cup. We are talking about Paul Pogba.
We
What did
got
he-
the
what did he
result.
contribute to
Kita
Manchester
ada
United?
result. Kita ada
Okay,
result.
Jai, let me tell you
two
Kita
points,
dah
huh?
penat tengok. Kita dah penat kita tengok
Jai,
dia
relax,
kita nombor 2,
Jai,
nombor 6. Kita dah penat.
Relax.
Okay,
Nafas,
Jai, you
nafas.
said 2 points. One, you said box to box midfielder. Box to box means from your defensive box to attacking box, not only in the attacking front. Okay, that's one. Secondly, the reason we brought in Fernandes is because when Pogba was playing in the so-called attacking midfield, we couldn't break down defensive teams. The teams
He was
with a low
running
block.
into walls. He was running into
Yeah,
walls,
exactly.
losing the ball,
That is your
sitting on the
so-called
ground.
attacking
Okay, guys,
midfield.
Bruno
Guys,
Fernandes
Everybody
Bruno
calm
Fernandes
down,
merosakkan.
everybody calm down. Come, relax dulu. Nafas, Jai, nafas. Okay, nafas. Okay,
Aku marah
rating for
betul
Paul
lah.
Pogba. Rating for Paul Pogba. Okay, we leave the conclusion of this to the comments below. Okay, so are you team Paul Pogba in or Paul Pogba out? You
Pogba in.
comment below.
Pogba in.
Let's
Pogba in.
Okay, Smurf, you didn't give a rating for Paul Pogba. Give a rating for Paul
He's
Pogba.
going to be average for me, 6.
Average 6. Okay lah, acceptable lah. 6.5 lah. Okay, so we move
Tak
on
boleh
to,
terima lah 6.
we move on to the next player. Okay, we are going to talk about a pairing, Matić and Mata. Okay, Matić and Mata, Danny. What's your rating on those two players? Okay, maybe just a touch and go since they are going to leave the club anyway. Okay.
I'm not going to rate them because they didn't play that much to deserve a rating, but they're the old guards of United. I hope they move on to better teams lah. I really like both of them, but if they stay, I feel they can do good in the last 15 minutes of teams that we cannot break down. I feel okay. A younger Matić can do the job of McTominay and Fred in the position, but now because he's old, his legs have gone. I think in the last 15 minutes when we want to all out, we can take off both our DMs and put Matić to control. You bring on your fresh legs. Mata is also slow, but his passes are very key in breaking down other things. Only a short while.
Let's give them a 6 lah. Okay, respect to them.
Okay, a 6 lah.
Servants, let's give them 6, average 6 lah. Okay, let's move on to Van de Beek. Okay, our hidden gem. I think that guy personally, I think he has the potential. He need more game time. Josh, what do you think about Van de Beek?
Speaking on behalf of the Dutch community of Manchester United once again, I think he has not been given enough time. And you know, I love this guy since he's the Ajax. He really have grown as a young player. I'm going to rate him slightly below average just because he has not much time because he got much more potential. In the past 3-4 years
Oh man,
I think we lost Josh. Huh?
I think we lost. We lost.
Yeah, but I think what he's trying to say is, he's got a lot of potential. Problem is he didn't get much playing time this season. I hope he gets a good preseason and then, hopefully he'll kick on from there.
Okay.
So Josh is back. What's the rating?
Basically, Doc interrupted you.
It was his internet connection. Okay, I just escaped the situation.
Doc the interrupter, I tell you.
Okay, we move on to our favorite CDM. Okay, selalu kena kecam, Fred. Okay, Jai, opinion on Fred.
Okay, kita memang dah disajikan dengan permainan Fred sebelum-sebelum ni, dan kita pun boleh menganalisis jika pasukan macam Man United, untuk pendapat saya, Fred tidak sesuai berada di dalam pasukan kita sepanjang musim. Sebab banyak benda, impact dia sangat less, sangat kecil impact dia. So, for me, saya terus bagi rating lah. Dia cuma 5 je, average. Dia tidak ada keistimewaan daripada segi, sebab Man United ni adalah salah satu pasukan yang besar. Pasukan yang perlukan seseorang, pemain yang banyak kebolehan. Tetapi rasanya Fred tidak sesuai untuk berada di dalam tim Man United lah. Banyak kesilapan, passing, shot, buat benda. Bye-bye lah. Kalau cakap kasar dia, tolong keluarlah daripada Man United.
Nasib baik lain.
Kalau boleh pergi jumpa Oleh, tolonglah Oleh, saya nak keluar daripada Man United lah. That's why. Ataupun mungkin dia boleh jadi umpan untuk beli player-player lain lah. Sebab dia lembik, passing. Untuk I memang dia tak bagus lah untuk kita. Memang tak bagus lah. I tak nak cakap benda-benda yang tak elok kan. Tapi untuk kita dia memang tak bagus. Sebab kita tak akan berjaya, tidak akan dapat apa yang kita nak daripada menggunakan Fred ni. Okay, saya terus terang lah.
Okay, kita move on.
So kalau ada sesiapa yang nak backup Fred, boleh backup lah. Tapi
boleh cari agent Jai. Agent Jai akan tolong. Okay, so we move on to our next player, McTominay. Okay, so McTominay, for me throughout the season, I don't really like him as a CDM lah. Okay, but then for the performance alone in the Europa finals, I think he did fantastic. For that alone, I will give him probably a rating of 6.5 for that alone. Okay, maybe Smurf, this is our fanboy number 1, McTominay. What do you think about McTominay?
Yeah, that lad, like I was always saying, McTominay is the future of Manchester United. His style of play, his attitude reminds me a little bit about Roy Keane. He's not that wild, but a little bit of Roy Keane. Okay, 32 games, 4 goals so far from playing as a CDM especially. I think that is a very good stat for him, which he is young at 24 years now, if I'm not wrong, and he can improve. He has the height, he has the physique, he can control the game, and he can play with both feet. So I think he is a good lad. 6.5, you gave him, Dom, if I'm not wrong. I think that will be a reasonable score for him this season.
Okay, we move on to the last player in our midfield, the midfield list that we'll be discussing, Bruno Fernandes. Okay, Bruno Fernandes, for me, he's the captain lah. But then somehow in JomUnited, we got a split kind of group. We got Bruno in, like anything else, we got Bruno in and Bruno out. Okay, so maybe we start with, okay lah, Jai. Apa pendapat you tadi? You dah panjang lebar Bruno.
No, bagi orang yang nak Bruno in tadi, bagi yang nak Bruno in, I nak dengar apa hujah diorang sebelum I bercakap. Sebab I bukan nak ini untuk kelab. So you all boleh cakap dulu. Bagi diorang cakap dulu, Dom.
Tunjuk kertas you yang you tulis tu kat mana? Tunjuk kertas.
Tak nampak lah.
Jai, sorry.
Serius, okay. You nak I cakap? I cakap sekarang.
Josh,
nak I cakap?
No, sorry, Josh. Danny, you can talk about Bruno.
Danny, cakap.
Okay, Bruno easily one of the best guys United have this season. I'm giving 8.5. I would have given him 9, but in the top 6 games and tough games, he don't turn up. And why I feel this happens is when you play your lower teams. First of all, when we signed Bruno, United became Bruno FC. Everything ran through Bruno. Every attack, every goal. This is why his goals and assists are quite high. In this season, second season, where everybody knew that we run things to Bruno, the smaller teams don't have an extra player to dedicate to cover Bruno. When you play the bigger teams, you have like a Kante or a Henderson and players like this who will just sit on Bruno and then cuts off his supply. And from there, we cannot get, he can't supply any of the strikers, and there's not enough creative people next to him because we keep having two defensive midfielders at the back of him. So even when he get the ball, he turn around, it's a wall around him. So I feel that is why if Bruno is to improve, is to get out of these tight situations, I feel to get up next lah. Other than that, I think he usually gives his all, and probably he needs a break. I feel he's going to get burnt out soon.
Yes.
And even with Euros next, if no break, I think we are in for trouble next season. But if you're telling me Pogba is better than Bruno, y'all are crazy. From day one, Bruno has been performing. Pogba, you know what is Pogba? Like Lingard, we've been telling he has a potential to be good. He has the potential to be great. Potential to give him 5 years. However good Pogba can be, at some point you need to take responsibility. That's the difference. He was a young guy in Juventus. He was not the senior in France. So he can do all this fancy stuff. Up and down, got somebody to cover him from behind. Now it's time for him to step up to be world class. They give him 2 DM behind him. You're telling me he still cannot be creative in front. That's my point. So as far as everything goes, I still think Bruno is the main guy.
Okay, Jai.
When you talk about players waiting for potential, there's somebody else. Why did you use Lingard? There's somebody else who we are waiting
lucky,
for.
man. Oh
him to
my
fulfill
God.
his potential.
Don't waste time here. Okay, Jai.
Guys, okay, bagi saya cakap pasal Bruno Fernandes ni. Kenapa kita relay dengan Pogba? Sebab, okay, terus terang saya bagi tahu you. Kita ambil game AC Milan dengan Man United. Di manakah Bruno waktu FC Milan dengan Man United? Kebanyakan game penting, you all pun tahu dia punya record. Daripada English Premier League yang nombor 1 sampai nombor 6 pun, apa dia boleh buat? Macam okay lah, kita ambil last game final Villarreal, piala yang kita perlu, benda yang kita boleh jadi pemangkin untuk kita pergi next step, next season. Mana Bruno Fernandes?
Mana Paul Pogba?
Memang okay. Contoh.
Where was Paul Pogba?
Wait. Memang
sorry,
kita
Jai,
tahu.
before that, AC Milan, the first leg, you forgot who set up the goal. It was Bruno's ball over the top to Ahmad.
Mana ada bola tu dia kelang kabut. Dia cuma mengelak je, then dia score. Bukan dia assist stopper.
The header,
Ahmad's header.
Yes, Ahmad header.
Okay, bagi saya cakap, boleh. Sekarang ni, yang paling penting ialah kelab Man United. Kita perlukan seseorang pemain yang bukan untuk dapat nombor 2, bukan untuk dapat nombor 6. Memang Bruno Fernandes banyak skor, banyak assist. Okey, kalau kita tengok skor penalti dengan skor yang sepatutnya lah. Tapi kita perlukan jaringan penting yang dengan Leeds United, dengan game yang kita kalah. Mana dia? Mana pergi dia?
Tapi you tak boleh salahkan Bruno Fernandes for this thing. Ini I rasa tak boleh salahkan
Bruno ialah top scorer United, bro. You cakap you tak ada top scorer United.
Bruno gives you 10 good games and maybe 1 bad game. Pogba gives you the opposite. Which one you think is better? Whether
sekarang ni
to the lower teams
sekarang ni guys, aku cakap pasal Bruno Fernandes. Aku bukan cakap pasal Pogba. Aku cuma compare saja. Aku tak cerita pasal Pogba, aku cerita sekarang pasal Bruno Fernandes.
You cakap pasal Paul Pogba lah, bro. You compare dengan apa, dinding ke?
Yeah. I think you all semua macam dah tak sop dengan Bruno Fernandes. So you all tak nampak kelemahan yang Bruno Fernandes ada. You all semua rasa Bruno Fernandes ni boleh bawa kita pergi ke Champion English Premier League.
Yes, actually
Bruno Fernandes
he has the potential.
Definitely.
100%. He has to give a little bit more to it, and I think he will also be a very good leader.
He just needs the supporting cast to step up. And Pogba doesn't step up for me.
Guys, dia cuma memotivatekan diri dia sendiri saja. Dia bukan memotivate the whole team.
No. I tak setuju dengan itu. I think
even Eric Cantona couldn't carry United by himself. He needed his supporting
jauh. Bruno Fernandes tak boleh compare dengan Eric Cantona. Dia tak boleh langsung.
Jai,
cakap macam tu.
comparing with Cantona. I'm telling you, Cantona needed his supporting cast.
Team kita sekarang
all.
memang jauh
For
berbeza dengan
United
team
also,
yang dulu-dulu. Tak boleh compare macam tu. Kita
cannot
memang
compare. I'm
jauh
not
berbeza.
comparing. But what I'm telling you is,
Because Doc
Bruno
cakap pasal
needs
Eric
the
Cantona
rest of
dengan
the
Bruno
perform as well.
Fernandes.
Bruno needs the others to perform, and
Tak,
Pogba doesn't perform for me.
Yang Doc maksud Doc dia perlukan dia punya surrounding player juga untuk performing. You tak boleh blame Bruno seorang. You tak boleh cakap yang masalah dia seorang. Kena tengok surrounding player. Kalau status you tengok yang
Guys,
paling berbakat potensi,
you all kena
Bruno
terima
Fernandes dengan
hakikat.
Pogba. Memang dia orang yang memang banyak how to say potential and whatnot, and then they are supposed to bring
Guys,
the team forward. Betul tak?
Okay. You cuma cakap ya ataupun tidak saja. Bruno Fernandes ada tenggelam tak?
Yes,
Game dia.
against Liverpool, yes. He did tenggelam, he did go. But what about
Liverpool,
Pogba? You were
Liverpool,
defending Pogba.
Villarreal. Okay. Kalau Pogba tak perform, kita jual. Kalau Bruno tak perform, kita jual.
Tak boleh.
Buat apa kita nak kekalkan
Pogba was
player
5
macam
years.
tu?
Pogba has been many years in Manchester United. Bruno has probably 2 seasons, if I'm not wrong, 2-3 seasons max. Okay, and you are comparing Pogba and Bruno in terms of 5 and 2-3 years. I think that's very unfair. And you still want to keep Pogba. I think Pogba has to go. And you did mention earlier that basically Pogba is not having his chances because Bruno came into Manchester United and Bruno took his position. Bruno is in the spotlight. But now the question to you is, what did Pogba do for Manchester United? Did he manage to score 18 goals? Out of 18 goals, 9 penalties in the Premier League when Bruno was not in Manchester United for Manchester United? Answer me that.
And not only that, you say, oh, Bruno, you are saying the big games didn't perform. Where was Pogba in the big games? Did he perform? No, right? Small
He
games
was on the
perform.
he was on the
Big
ground
games he didn't
crying.
perform. Obviously,
Okay.
he's not as good as Bruno.
So, okay, I just want to answer some of the question. Remember that before masa Ole interim manager, you can see that when Pogba has this like free role while dia main position yang Bruno main sekarang ni, you can look at the stat. Berapa banyak dia score? I think it's around somewhere 13 or 14 goals per season during that season yang masa Jose kena sack dan dia Ole jadi interim. So that's the position yang I think
The guys sekarang lupa. Diorang lupa. Diorang cuma nampak sekarang Bruno Fernandes.
Sorry, I tambah dengan you. Lepas dia interim manager, lepas tu dia start full season Ole. The first half of the season, MU tenggelam kau-kau. Bila Bruno datang masa Januari, baru kita shoot back up. Sebab itu saya cakap Pogba dia bukan emotional, dia perlu semua orang sokong dia, tap on the back, bro, you are damn good, this one must give him supply. He cannot take responsibility.
Betul. So,
but for his salary, Pogba is not a fringe player.
Ya, betul lah, of course lah. But then very pity for Pogba lah, maksudnya kita, because we expect him to do like everything, to take corner, to header, to shoot and to do everything, whereas he cannot do that. There are some parts yang memang dia memang boleh perform, there are parts yang dia tak boleh perform. But then
Bruno Fernandes ada skor penalti ke? Ada skor header? Tak ada. Mana ada skor header?
Ada.
Mana ada? Tak ada.
Brighton.
Don't worry, guys. Bruno is here to stay. He will bring us the Premiership, guys. Don't worry about it.
Okay, guys.
Have faith, guys. Have faith.
Let's agree on the. Okay, somehow let's find a middle ground for Bruno Fernandes rating. Okay, Jai, berapa?
Satu hari nanti Bruno Fernandes akan membuatkan kita semua kecewa. Serius aku cakap korang, kalau korang tak percaya.
Sama, Pogba dah kecewakan dah 5 tahun dah.
Dia akan kecewakan you, Jai. Dia akan kecewakan you.
Jai.
Guys, at least Pogba ada European Cup. Bruno tak ada apa lagi.
Jai, rating untuk Pogba. Rating untuk Bruno Fernandes. Pogba pula. Bruno Fernandes, rating for Bruno Fernandes, berapa you bagi dia? You jangan cakap 8 lah.
7.
Okay lah, accept boleh. Okay, guys.
7 lah.
Okay, guys. Nanti you cakap 8 lah. Okay,
still I cakap Bruno kalau ada Grealish, aku rasa Bruno habis punya.
Anyway, we are at the end of our segment. Okay, so tune in for part 3. Okay, and then if you miss part 1, check out the link below. Okay, like usual, like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification so you'll be notified when part 3 comes out. Okay, JomUnited, let's keep this going.
Bruno for captain.